Sing of living, sing of dying. Let them both be joined in one. Parts of an eternal process like the ever-circling sun. From the freshness of each infant, giving hope in what is new, to the wisdom of the aged, deepened by a longer view. This place, most basically, is where we come to begin and end our lives and do all of that living in between. Last week, early Monday morning, this congregation said goodbye to an incredibly important founding early person within this congregation, Donna Schmid. I'm not sure if she was technically one of the very first people, but she was here from the beginning. Someone who is what gave this place its spirit of love, of welcome, and of care. Now, not even a full day before, in this very same fellowship, we had, I believe, 3 babies in this space and a whole bunch of kids running around. Folks, that is not true for every congregation in the United States. In fact, we know it is not true, right? That most congregations are in a place of fear that their mission, that their purpose in this world might die with them. That is not true right here and right now, right? Those who started this fellowship, I hope, are resting in peace and in power, knowing that it is being entrusted and that it is being carried forth by generations to come. Yeah, this is something to celebrate truly and very deeply, right? Give yourselves a round of applause, because sometimes it is uncomfortable and we're figuring out how to do this and we're like, oh man, the kids are getting a little loud again, right? But like, hallelujah, the kids are getting a little loud. It is so important that we are living deeply into multi-generational community because we are also learning from each other, right? We are also taking the visions and dreams of those who came before us and using those as a bedrock from which we can grow. That does not happen often enough in our modern society. We are too often segregated in so many ways, by age, by race, by belief. This fellowship is becoming a place where people of so many different identities can be coming together and truly sharing with one another. And that is the vision and the hope that we are committed to. That is sometimes the growing pains that we're feeling. And that is the beauty, magic, and promise that I believe this fellowship has in particular for Unitarian Universalism and for this region. We're going to talk a little bit more about how Unitarian Universalism in our past has been bound too much by cultural constraints, and that we are unleashing it from some of its binds so that everyone who finds hope in Unitarian Universalism might be able to find that here. Yes, thank you. And first, because this is a stewardship sermon, I'm going to talk about the budget for 1 second. But it's important, right? So as a minister's kind of perspective on the budget is often to say that the budget should align with our values, right? What we spend our money on should align with what we believe and what our values are. Right. Money speaks, money has power and movement. We might wish it were different in our world, that money were not so important, and it is the world we live in, okay? So we want to be sure that our priorities are being aligned. Now, all congregational budgets, all fellowship budgets, staffing is always the most expensive thing because we care about paying our staff well. you all have cared about this historically. You have made a commitment to move your staff into fair share rates. You care about being good employers. Now, you all have kept up with this, and we've got some people who need bumped up a little bit. Our part-time staff in particular have been a bit fallen behind in this fair pay, need some pay increases. We also have an amazing part-time communications specialist who we would love to work more than 40 hours a month. So we're hoping for some bumps in our part-time staff, and we're also prioritizing more funding for childcare, appropriate funding for our people of color small group, for our worship budget, for our music budget, and for the organizational affiliations that we want to be involved in our community, right? For those collectives of congregations who are doing the work of justice together. I will talk about all of these things in more detail at our budget session after service today, if you care to hear more about that. But I wanted everyone to hear that this is how we're thinking about our budget. How does it align with our values? Now, just as a congregational budget should align with our fellowship values, this is also true of every individual and every family. So I ask you in this stewardship time to ponder, is how we're spending our money reflecting of our values? Am I spending my money on what matters most to me? Now again, we know this is important because we live in a capitalist system where money is power, and money is often how we speak and communicate. So it is actually a spiritual practice to be conscious of how our spending aligns with our values. I myself have reflected that perhaps spending sometimes up to $6 on a coffee is perhaps not aligned with my values, right? And I do it every once in a while because I have a small child, and sometimes the only way I'm going to get that coffee is to drop her off at daycare and go get the coffee, and I cannot make it before that in the morning. And I'm working on it. I have one of those little espresso-like things now, the old Italian ones that I put on the stovetop, and I try and set it off, and I'll have the coffee burn while I'm taking care of her. Okay. So I invite you all, and they can be little things like that, like a cup of coffee, which do add up, but spend some time and think about how you're spending your money, and are there ways that you're spending your money that you don't actually feel great about and that you might want to shift. Now, I'm not saying that all that money should then come to this fellowship, but maybe some of it could if you're recognizing that the values that we are living out both inside and outside of our walls are in fact more in line with what you want your money to be doing for the world, right? Now, we do this because congregations are really special kinds of countercultural community where we pool our money together out of the belief that our money can do a greater good for ourselves and our world than any of our funds could do alone, right? That doesn't actually happen in most groups and communities where we say, hey, we're gonna all put some money together for this mission that we believe in and for this strategy that we believe can get this mission out into the world, right? Which is coming together on Sundays for some time for spiritual renewal and for fellowship, having supportive programming throughout the week, and support to go out and live our love out in the community. Now, that's pretty awesome, and it does mean that we rely on the generosity of our members and friends to make this fellowship possible, to put the lights on, to pay staff, etc. So here's one thing that I'm going to say that conflicts with the really excellent messaging that our stewardship campaign has been putting on. And I still need to say it because of where I come and from my own class background. I think some of you maybe heard me talk about my meme who had almost no money and who would still go get a coffee for the homeless guy on the corner, even though she couldn't walk too well, from McDonald's, right, whenever he was there. So I invite everyone to give, and no gift is too small. Truly, 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 no gift is too small. If pledging $1 a month or $5 a year is what is possible for you, that is so welcomed and so appreciated. No gift is too small, truly, truly, deeply. And if you come with some religious trauma and the fact that I am here asking for money at all has you like squirming a little bit, and that's true for some of us, right? Perhaps your pledge is to commit to recognizing and working through some of that religious trauma so that it's not preventing you from engaging in this fellowship in the ways that you want. You can set up a pastoral care appointment with me. We can talk about some stuff. I can point you to some resources. That is real. Your pledge might be a commitment to some other kind of work, and your pledge might be $5 a year. All pledges that are about committing to this community, helping it grow stronger and wiser and more energetic, more lively, helping us live out our mission, are welcome and so, so deeply appreciated. It's appreciated because we, like Reverend Dietrich, who is that evangelical, it's not shocking to me that we don't know how to say the word evangelical because we don't actually believe in spreading our faith out into the world, right? But we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. Because if we, like this religious, humanist, Unitarian minister, believe that Unitarian Universalism makes a difference in our lives, and if we believe it can make a difference in our community, a very real difference, then we want to spread that and share it, not just give to it. Now, here's where the minister complains a little bit. I am very sick and tired of the religious right having a way bigger footprint in our nation, in our region, and in this city. Thank you. Now they are able to do this in no small part because they have more money, right? We could have lots of conversations about why this is, about how some theologies are able to raise more money than others, perhaps, and about how some people are also just more comfortable talking about money. Hence our elephant in the room, right? So there are too many examples of religious communities here in Winston-Salem that come to mind that I am refraining myself from speaking aloud, but some might come to mind for you all too. And here's what we know. We know that people want community. People want a place to ask questions and to sit with the really hard tensions of life and death and meaning. Now, some people want very clear answers and they may not like it here, and that's okay. But so many of us want a place to learn and grow and not have beliefs that grow, and have beliefs that grow with us, and beliefs that help us grow for goodness. We, this fellowship, should be that place people come to, for we are not going to try to force beliefs on people, and we respect and support people's exploration and growth. Right? We want to be the place where people who are looking to struggle with life, to find community, to explore and grow their own beliefs and theologies. We want to be a place where people can come because this place has been that for us, right? This place has been that for us, and it would be not terribly kind of us to just keep this place to ourselves when we know it has done us so much good and can do so much good for others. Right? Just as we have needed Unitarian Universalism, the city needs more Unitarian Universalism, the South needs more Unitarian Universalism, the US needs more Unitarian Universalism. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Winston-Salem, some of you know, has a particularly remarkable history of enabling love and justice to become real in our world. We're going to have a whole nother sermon on that at some other point. But right now, I want to name that in 1943, one of the most powerful labor strikes in US history was led by Black women here in Winston-Salem in Reynolds Tobacco Factory number 65. That was just in 1943, not that long ago. Winston-Salem was also maybe the only city, one of the only cities to elect members of the Black Panther Party to city council, who went on to do amazing work in the city. Now, there is a lot that still needs to and that can be done here in Winston-Salem. And in order for that to happen as fully, as beautifully, as joyously, and to make the most justice as possible, it will need all of us to be activated and involved in our own ways to get us there, right? And in order for this to happen in our city, the city needs us, Unitarian Universalists, to be grounded in mission and not afraid to be out in our community providing practical, ethical, spiritual support to the movements that are happening, right? We are a faith that believes the arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice, right? When we are unleashing our power, inviting anyone who wants to within our walls and engaging with all those outside of our walls, we are helping to make that love manifest in our world. Now, here's why I know we can be those people. Be those people who are spreading love within and outside of these walls, building relationships with others within and outside of these walls. I know because, one, you've had some hard times, right? And hard times help us grow. They help us grow towards each other. They help us become more emotionally mature and astute. And they help us know that relationships are never easy. Relationships are never easy, and they sometimes go through some struggles. And when we are committed to one another, when we are committed to our mission, we will get through it and we will come out stronger. Like, look at y'all now, for real. Okay? Now, we're also doing the work of breaking these cultural bounds that I shared has been holding Unitarian Universalism back for too long, right? For too long, Unitarian Universalism has been white, overeducated, upper middle class people, and that's just not becoming the case in our congregation. Slowly, it's taking time, and we're committed, right? And how I know that you are committed is that you are learning deeply from each other and with people who are different than you, right? Staff, we have weekly staff meetings. We talk about how things are going. And one of the things I learned is that in our week-long renewal and transformation session, you all showed up for sessions about spiritual practices that were different than yours, knowing that you might not have that belief as someone else, and knowing that you were going to learn something from hearing about someone else's spiritual practice, right? We had humanists in the room when Sandra Kay was sharing about her prayer practice, right? Knowing that they were going to a session led by a Christian on prayer, and knowing that they were going to learn something and grow from that. Like, heck yeah, right? Unitarian Universalism at our best, we are living into being a theologically diverse space, and we are learning from one another in real ways, right? Not just surface level ways. Now, I heard so many other stories of people in a session on storytelling, on creativity, with maybe some people who they've had real conflict with in the past, and still making the space to open up and get real and vulnerable with one another, right? I also know, because we continue to have new folks who are coming here and who are finding meaning, community, and courage in this space. Now, I know also, because we know, the children are always the one who tell the truth, right? And Emily's daughter, after being in service right over there last Sunday, after hanging out with my daughter as she completely decimated flowers over there, and after Emily's daughter was helping to bring flowers in for our flower communion, said, "This was the best day ever." This was the best day ever. Back to our hymn lyric from our hymn we just sang. Open to a deeper loving, open to the gift of care, searching for a higher justice, helping others in despair. Through the tender bonds of living in a more inclusive way, we are opened more to suffering from the losses of each day. And I would add too, we are more open not only to suffering, but also to joy. Through the tender bonds of living in a more inclusive way, we are open to love, care, suffering, and joy, and we are open to living more really and more fully, right? When we are deeply and truly getting to know one another in an inclusive way. Okay, I have to do just one quote from an academic. I can't help myself. Diana Eck is a professor at Harvard Divinity School and runs something called the Pluralism Project, which is all about theological pluralism and diversity. And I was able to work with and for her for one summer many years ago. She said to Unitarian Universalists, "You are, in my estimation, the church of the new millennium. In this era, Unitarian Universalism is not the lowest common denominator, but the highest common calling. In a world divided by race and by religion and by ideology, the very presence of a church like this, committed to the love of neighbor, and service to humanity, is a beacon. The Unitarian Universalist theology, and yes, you have one, does not reduce the mystery of the divine, the transcendent, but amplifies it, broadens it to include the investigation of the many, many ways in which the divine is known and yet unknown. The world is in need of your theology." It is. Thank you. Okay, just one more ask, I gotta do it. Pledge something, right? Pledge money, pledge a commitment to meet with me and do some reading on the religious trauma that might be preventing you from engaging more fully in this community. If you've already pledged and want to increase your pledge, I don't think anyone would be mad about this, so go ahead and do it. There we go. And when you pledge, whatever it is you pledge for what this community has and can be here for you and for others for the future. Pledge for what you believe this community has and can be for those who don't yet know about it, whether or not they will ever enter into these walls. Pledge because, as Dietrich says, you believe this faith and this fellowship will create the most good in your own life and in the life of your community. Or pledge because you, like Diana Eck and I, believe this can and should be the faith for our future. Whatever your reason, let your belief in this place and all we can do together set a fire in your bones and set you aflame with the passion of this faith. I got to do one corny transition to our music, okay? Love can't be bought, and how we spend our money individually and collectively sure as hell can help us use our power to create more love and justice in our world. Amen. So let's do it.